Welcome to Remove Before Flight, where we help prepare veterans to start, grow, or scale a business. Welcome back to another episode of Remove Before Flight. In this episode, we are going to continue our series on SEO with part 3 of site layout, design, and structure. We're going to talk about some changes that happened with Google this week, as well as recap my crazy week mentoring with EBV. We would like to thank A2 Hosting for their continued support of our show, and they are this week's featured sponsor. Head over to changeyourpov.com/webhost and learn about some great deals they put together just for our listeners. Wow, what an intense week, and I'm not even the one going through the boot camp. If you listened to last week's show, then you know that the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans with Disabilities, aka EBV, kicked off this week at Syracuse University. For 11 years now, Syracuse University has been putting on this boot camp, which other universities have followed suit and joined the program. I believe at last check there were up to 10 universities offering this great program. You can learn more about EBV and the IVMF by listening to episode 5 of Remove Before Flight at changeyourpov.com/RBF010, where we sat down with Anthony Armelino. At that time, he was the program manager for EBV. So this week, I had the pleasure to return to EBV and mentor our fellow veterans. As an alumni of the program, I can bring a rounded insight of entrepreneurship as well as relate to what they're experiencing and going through. Those who have not experienced EBV, it's the equivalent of taking an MBA program and cramming it into 7 days. Joining me this week has been a great cast of fellow business owners from the local community and a handful of alumni from the programming, including Change Your POV's own Bennett 10. I am looking forward to following up on the journeys of several of this year's class and monitoring their progress. We will be having a couple of them on the show from time to time to share the lessons that they have learned. Going through this, today's Saturday. I'm recording the show early because this is their graduation today. Today, I got to go up there and be a judge through their pitch contest. They got to pitch their business, get some practice to go through this presentation. And I get that thorough enjoyment of listening to these and help these guys scale and grow a business that, they're taking an idea and just running with it. And let me tell you, some of the ideas in this year's class are just phenomenal. There's a guy in there looking to do a program to help prevent veteran suicide. We all know that that's huge, that we need something like that in our community. Krista Penn from Sandbox Enterprises, holy crap. She's got this great system. It's up and running now, and she's been working with people, and some of the products she can't keep in stock. She's making a one-stop shop for veteran made and produced items. So, if there's something out there that's made here in America and made by a veteran, you can go through her to purchase it online. There's some vendors she has on there that nobody would have heard of if it wasn't for her. And she's going through this program to learn exactly how to build a foundation for her business. There's a local guy that's got this really great concept for those who like clean eating. I'm not going to give much details away because he's onto something here. And being that he's local in Syracuse, I'm looking forward to working one-on-one with him as he makes this venture go through. There's other people on there. There was one guy named Jason that basically has a gold mine falling into his lap. Right time, right place. That's what happens, So, but bottom line, thank you, Dr. Haney, for having the vision for the Institute for Veteran and Military Families and bringing us great programs like EBV. So I want to take a minute here and let you listen to a little something I got to hear earlier this week. It's a local band called Late Earth, and it's a song called The Black Sky Problem. I'm not going to play the whole song for you because, unfortunately, I don't really have permission to use the song, but, I always love to give a shout-out to local artists, so I'm going to share, a short clip here, and I'll probably share another clip at the end of the episode, as well as put a link to the video that they have of the song online at YouTube, so that if you care to go see the whole thing or listen to the whole song, you're more than welcome to. But watching these guys perform in person just was like really great. It was like early on in the week and helped me just reset. So
it's got a sense of smelling of humor, tough as nails, kicking and laughing and picking its teeth with the anchor. A shipwreck starving for the sails, I speak of visions. And what happens when you shut them down and let them out? Find a spark, the rider of the darkness, screaming it's alive, the idea's a monster. And I'm the fucking Frankenstein standing in the way, trying to prove to you that it can shine. Here and now, you already know we're up and ready to go. So welcome, so glad you could show we're up and ready to go. Here and now, you already know we're up and ready to go. So welcome, so glad you could show we're up and ready to go.
Yeah, so there you have it. There's a little bit of a clip for you to grab onto. Yeah, if you're anything like me, that'll be stuck in your head the rest of the day. If you head over to changeyourpov.com/RBF010, you'll be able to hear the full length of that song, as well as find other notes related to today's show. All right, so this week, Google disabled Google Instant on search. What is that, you ask? Hey, this is a feature which auto-populated the search results as you type them out into the search query box. So for many years, this was used along with another feature that goes hand in hand with it that would auto-complete the phrases. So as you started typing something in there, it kind of would complete out what people were searching for. And a lot of SEO agencies would use this for help with keyword research. It would tell you what people are looking for, what people are asking, Now, autocomplete is still there. However, it's restricted only return 3 results. What used to happen is when you would hover over one of those results, you would see a pre-populated list of the search results being returned on the page. So you could kind of judge, is that the right criteria, what you're looking for, or anything else. And you're not able to see those pages being returned anymore. So it's funny because, when they launched this feature back in 2010, many people in the SEO community made statements that instant search would kill SEO. Meanwhile, several years later, SEO is still around. My thoughts? Oh well. It makes sense as Google's moving forward to match the mobile and desktop searching environments, and this feature's not available on the mobile environment. I never really used it much anyways. I have other ways for doing my keyword research. I would love to hear your thoughts. Head over to changeyourpov.com/RBF010 and leave me your comments. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking quite a bit about SEO and marketing of your website, but we never really chat much about where you host your website. Now, you'll find out as we get a little bit deeper into our series on SEO, we'll talk about one of the ranking factors is the speed of your website, and a lot of that comes into play on who you're hosting with. I personally cringe sometimes when I hear people going with notoriously bad hosting providers, as they will soon experience the nightmares that many others have faced over the years. I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor this week, and not just because they are a sponsor. I will not endorse a product which I have not tested or used myself personally on this show. I moved all of my personal and business websites to A2 almost a year ago. So having tried many providers over the past 20 years, including having my own servers in several different data centers, prior to A2, we were using cloud servers with Amazon or AWS, Amazon's web services. But the costs were just killing me as a small business owner. I wasn't able to afford that. And yes, I was hosting my client sites and they're paying for part of that hosting, but it's tough to compete when, you're using the Mercedes-Benz, but your clients are wanting that Chevy price. So it's just tough out there. So I was approached by A2 with my business Pink Tie, and we were asked to give them a try. So I began moving over a couple of my personal websites as well as a couple development websites that we work with. And this quickly grew to me moving all of our websites, including ones which we managed for our clients, over to them. So I highly recommend you check them out. You can visit changeyourpov.com/web host today and find a plan that meets your needs. So when is the best time to do SEO? At the beginning or at the end of a project? Today, too many marketers, designers, website owners are still bringing in SEO at the end of their content project. They finish a blog post, they finalize a new marketing campaign, and at the end of the line, SEO comes in to find related keywords and to plug them into the content. Unfortunately, this approach is outdated and completely ineffective. SEO must be foundational part of every project from the beginning. Keywords should help determine the content, not decorate it. Start with your keywords and build your content around them. It's all about doing keyword research and making sure you have the correct keywords. If you are fortunate enough to have a keyword research team, let them define your content. When expanded to discover user intent, keyword research tells us how to create content, what information is needed, who needs it, and where the reader or buyer is in their journey. Utilize the search engine results page, or SERPs, to reveal ranking priorities, content length, post type, video, audio, text, etc. Blends of tables, images, infographics. You get the idea. What are people asking for? That's what you give them. So, in other words, hack the data being presented to you and figure out what Google ranks to the top and what your customers are looking for. Pretty easy process. I know, sounds like it. Why don't people do it? So, all of this is not just for new projects either. You should be going back and utilizing SEO research to improve your existing content. So, when you first wrote your blog post, you didn't have a full data set to judge what the title, the description, the keyword density should be. Okay? So, now that, say, your post has been out there like 6 months or so, you will be able to see what people are looking for. You go in and look at your analytic data and determine how people are interacting with your content. So we're going to start with going and seeing how the existing content is satisfying their user intent. You're going to look at things like bounce rate. What kind of queries did they get there to your website? What brought them there? What were they looking for? Did they find what they needed? Next, you're going to want to check your content against your buying journeys and your customer personas. Wait, what? You don't have customer personas? Man, stop right there. Get down to it and figure out who you are targeting. Tough to write content if you don't know who you're targeting it to. Finally, compare the content as a whole to what you just gathered in your research. Are you engaging your users? Do they take the time to understand it? Is it written for the right audience? Are you using the appropriate call to actions? Bottom line, modern SEO keyword research creates effective content strategies. Okay, so I'll get off my soapbox now and we can dive back into some of our SEO training. But before we get started, let me know where you are at in your SEO adventures. Let's see your progress. Head over to facebook.com/groups/RBF Nation and share with the community. Wait, what is this RBF Nation you refer to? Yes, you are correct. I've listened to what you guys have asked for. I read your emails. I see your notifications on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm here. I'm listening. I absorb it. I'm taking it in. You guys have asked for the ability to interact with the show. That comes down to the RBF Nation. It's a group on Facebook. It was one of the easiest platforms just to set something up to get people to interact with the show. So let's hear from you. Pose your questions. You want to see something, a certain topic be on the show? You want to see a certain person get interviewed? You want to be interviewed? Whatever it be, friggin' share with the community. You're struggling somewhere. You're proud of something you did. You learned something. Share it. Let's just all get together and help one another grow our businesses. That's the bottom line. That's why I'm here. This is why I do this show. I want to see you succeed.
Put it in a place at a time inside of space, right here where the out of compassion will find no fear, cause here and now you already know we're up and ready to go. So welcome, so glad you could show we're up and ready to go. Here and now you already know we're up and ready to go. So welcome, so glad you could show we're up and ready to go.
So last week we left off our SEO series talking about various tags and how to best use them to take full advantage to help your website rank for your desired keywords. I cannot stress enough that SEO takes time. Just because you think your webpage should be on page 1 of Google does not mean everyone else thinks so too. You should be very careful to consider each and every piece of content that you put on your pages to ensure that you are giving the potential visitor the best information and the best experience possible. This is the only way to have any hopes of ranking on the first page. Forget about keyword stuffing or the get-rich-quick mentality that many black hat methods use. Focus on building great pages that are about topics that include your keywords and phrases. Make them authoritative and unique. So what is the appropriate amount of content? The easiest way to have you think about it is ask 10 people, what is the best car or what is the best sports team? Guess what? Chances are you will get 10 different answers. Some will tell you long articles. Others will say a bunch of short articles. It all comes down to what your users want. The appropriate amount to cover the topic at hand. So say you're writing a blog post and the purpose is to inform or educate. Why? Because that's what most blog posts are. If you've done a great job and all the information is provided and it's only 500 words, well then that's the right amount of content. On the other hand, say the topic has you putting out 2,000 plus words because it takes more in-depth content for your user to understand the topic, well then that's the perfect length. Do search engines take into account the content length? Absolutely. But they are also looking at things like your bounce rate. Are people clicking to your website and immediate leaving? Or are they staying to read your content and then clicking through your website to other pages? Are they sharing your content? There is no possible way that anyone can tell you the optimal length for a blog post or web page. However, what people can do, including myself, is give you guidelines which to determine if you are meeting your customers' needs. Make sure you are covering the topic. Don't leave them with a question at the end needing to go elsewhere for answers. Include things like lists, whether they be bolded or numbered, block quotes, bold text, short paragraphs, and visuals. Utilize subheadings. Why do you want to do all of this? Because most people do not read. They scan. So make it easier by highlighting the key areas with these features. Let's chat a little bit about using links within your content. We're going to discuss both internal and external links. Internal links are links which stay within your website. These links should be helpful to your user so they can navigate to related pages and help them understand the hierarchy of your website. They can also be used to let the search engines know about related content that exists on other parts of your website. Use them wisely and keep in mind your users, not the search engines, when creating these links. External links are ones which cause the user to leave your website. These can be places like Facebook, Twitter, or Joe's Pizza Shop, as long as they're relevant to the content that you have. To use these to your fullest advantage, link more authoritative sites on the topic which you're covering. These will help show the search engines what sandbox you play in. Don't worry about giving away the link juice to another site or losing the visitor. It all comes down to strategy. Just like with your content, you do not want to stuff your pages full of links. Keep them to a minimum and appropriate for the content at hand. External linking is necessary, but be sure that you are aware of who you are linking to. You are essentially making the claim that your page and the page you are linking to is related to your content. If somebody asks you to place a link on your website or trade links with you, you might want to think it all the way through first. The last part of our layout, design, and structure section in our SEO series is going to focus on mobile. Why? Because mobile devices have taken over our lives. Due to this, having a mobile-friendly website is just not enough anymore. Recently, Google made changes that if your website did not support modern mobile browsers, then your site would not be returned in the search results from any searches done on mobile devices. This can be a very costly mistake. You need to have a responsive site that adapts to the screen of your visitor. Have you seen devices today? Tablets, watches, phones, and more. No two of them have the same size. People used to build two separate websites, one for desktop, one for mobile. That does not cut it anymore. You need one website, one place for your content. The last thing you want is getting a duplicate flag for your content because you have two pages being served with the same content, the mobile version and the desktop version. Build one responsive website that adapts. Get with your friends and family. Test your site on various devices. Make sure your content can load fast and all functionality works. Think about making phone numbers clickable. When possible, consider filling out as much of a form as possible to make it easier on your users. Easy checkout processes. A good rule of thumb, make it so your grandmother can use your website from a smartphone. All right, folks, that's all for this week. Be sure to visit the show notes page for links and helpful tips that we've talked about in today's episode. You can visit it at changeyourpov.com/RBF010. If you want feedback on your progress as you tackle your own SEO, or you have questions about the topics we've gone over, join the nation at facebook.com/groups/RBF Nation. We would like to thank A2 Hosting again for sponsoring our show. Don't miss out on special offers. Visit changeyourpov.com/webhost and sign up today. Please take a moment and help us by completing our survey on hearing loss in the veteran community by visiting veteranhearingstudy.com. And don't forget, subscribe to Change Your POV so you never miss a great episode. All right, everybody, it's time to wrap up this show and get out of here. Life is short. Don't just dream, do. We will see you next week on Remove Before Flight. Thank you for listening.